As the team moves forwards into the next stage of their journey, more or less, let's define what that means later. But as you journey along and exploring the area, you found a mysterious cave system after getting, I wouldn't say lost in the fog, but you definitely couldn't really figure out what was going on. After exploring and finding this place out, you discovered dead entities inside, going in rhythmically continuing the process of what they were doing before potentially their intimate demise. Various not coping mechanisms, but various ways to cope, and others. And while doing so, Kaithal tried to help one that was, I don't want to say close to home because I don't remember Kaithal's complete backstory, but well enough sad that you decided to help out, which was good. Because after helping them move forwards or move on into, I think technically the souls die and enter into the Shadowfell, and then afterwards they go to a different place, afterlife. Not important right now. D&D cosmology, we'll figure that one out later. Actually, it's completely different in this world.
Wait, I thought that place was gone now.
Yeah, that's why I said actually it's completely different in this world. We'll figure that one out later. Anyways, they're no longer here, which is the main concern. And when doing so, Kaithal was given a cryptic warning. If he remembers it, that's perfectly fine. If he doesn't, I'm not going to give it again because it's a lot more entertaining this way. But you were given a warning about
he does not.
things crawling within the shadows. I'll give you that much. But
okay, that's
you also figured out that there's something inside of this treasure room. After throwing a, for some reason I was going to say candelabra, but that's not even close, torch, and seeing that there's more fog in there, your team is now currently deciding whether to jump in the hole or just to bail or to do other. Honestly, it's entirely up to you, but that is where we left off.
How deep is the hole?
When dropping the camp, wow, I just made the same mistake. When dropping the torch, it wasn't more than maybe 30 feet.
Can we tie like a rope or something to get down there?
I have an idea.
Yeah.
You guys can all hold a rope and tie it somewhere if there's not a place to tie it. I can then hold on to it and then just spider climb with the spider stubbies on top of the ceiling underneath the door and just look down.
not a bad idea.
We also have the bird.
Can you see in the dark?
There's a torch down there, and I can use a hand to hold the torch.
The torch at this point is gutted out.
Okay, I guess a torch doesn't mount that much.
Like, it's down there, but I'm going to say when it went down there and you guys observed when it went down, you saw that a lot of fog was in the area. It stayed active for like a minute, but at a certain point in time, it would be snuffed out due to the fog.
Alright, well, then I'll just hold a torch in my hand. It shouldn't be a big deal.
Also doable.
Or I can take a coin, cast light on it, and drop it down.
That would work.
I will pull out a silver piece or a copper piece, or just grab one of these coins on the ground and cast light. And go ahead and drop it down the hole.
Okay. You
So
cast
my
light.
friend can see.
All right. You cast light on one of the coins you find. Pick it up. Unlike last time, though, you guys decide not touch the money here, because one of you, I believe,
It's my
was
fault.
thought it might be cursed or something of the like. So when you pick it up, it does feel tingly, not as if you're cursed, but like there's slime because it's been here a while. But that's about it.
No, it's slimy. I will drop it down the hole, or cast light and drop it down.
Yeah, as you begin to cast light and drop it down the hole, you can tell that after a while it does get snuffed into the fog, but it doesn't dissipate. But unless you have very good eyesight, you can tell that it's omitting light, but you can't really discern the descriptors of what's down there.
Fog is still It's
From
still
time to
too thick
time,
around
however,
it.
you do see like wavering shadows as if something is moving down there.
I just had a weird thought. Could this be some kind of weird mimic-like creature?
It very well could be. It could be anything at this point.
But then why would there be ghosts?
That's a good point.
Especially
know.
these kinds.
I seen my owl down there.
Oh, we can give the owl an extra piece and have it hold light too on it.
Yeah, cast light on this rock real quick, would you, Kayafel?
Boom! I cast light on your rock.
You find,
Thank you.
I think light only lasts for like a minute or two, so
fair
you're
enough.
easily able to do so without the concentration being lost in the other one. So you cast light on the other rock, give it to
It's
Talon,
not
Talon gives it to
concentration,
Bird.
which is nice. It just lasts for an hour. You can only do it on one thing at a time. So once you cast it on the rock, the light on the
Oh.
coin went away.
Yeah, that's
No.
fine.
Right.
Do so,
Yeah.
gutting out the other light. Talon, you give it to your bird. What else do you do?
I told the bird to fly down there, and then I looked through its eyes and I'm like, what the hell's going on down there?
All right. As the bird goes down there into the depths, the fog, it becomes consumed by. Not as if the fog is literally eating it, but, as fog tends to do, overlaps the body. While it's flying down there, you can tell that the cave system is more or less 30 feet from bottom to top. And the thickness of where you open the gate is about maybe 5 feet before you just enter open cave system. So you can't just walk all the way down. Well, you can do what I was going to say Kython. Well, you can do what Cerberus had in mind, but it's not so deep, but it's pretty thick. But besides that, as your bird flies around, Talon, go ahead and roll a perception check for your bird.
Okay, little birdie. Let's see what.
There is light that matters now.
Well,
It just means you don't have disadvantage.
he has advantage on sight and perception checks.
Oh, then just a flat roll, I guess.
Oops.
I'll give it advantage since it's still a 10. As your bird begins to look around, you can tell that, and you looking through its eyes, you can tell that there's weird shadows moving about. As it does, though, you can tell that immediately something hits your bird, maybe. Talon, go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw for your bird.
Oh, no. I think he only has a +2 to dex. I think I only have a +2 to dex too. And I have a +4, so just -2 from this, I guess.
If it has
all right, that works.
question,
Yes.
it's flying, right? Where DM do you have it flying at?
It's
I'm going to
flying
stay in the
around on
middle of the room, so like 15 feet high.
All right, I ask because it gives me an idea of how tall or the possible position this attack may have came from.
Okay. Fair enough, I guess. But yeah. As just gonna check out the stat block for this.
Shouldn't have a +2. He has a 14 dex.
You can just summon it back to you with an action.
No, not if it dies.
Not if it dies.
I just thought I would tell you.
Well, yeah, but I can't do that after this already happened. It's already happened.
I just thought I'd tell you.
Oh, well, thank you. Maybe I'll do that this time if it lives.
All right. As this bird is just consumed by something in the darkness, thankfully enough, it does pass the save, but it might not survive. Who knows what just happened to it? But
Did
that?
you see anything through its eyes before it got chomped?
Hang on. I still need to roll for damage.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, does it still take any damage?
It does. It takes half.
No, it's dead.
Oh, how much does it have?
Like one.
It has 1 hit point.
Oh, yeah, it's dead.
Okay.
While it's
What
hovering
did I
around,
do?
you just see that your line of sight just immediately gets wiped out by something.
Owie.
Did not know it had
well,
1 health.
Yep. It's just a little owl.
That makes
Flying
sense.
around, doing
Yeah.
owl stuff.
Or does not.
You know what owls do. Okay.
Well,
I
now
thought
we know
about
something is
that.
definitely down there,
Yeah, we
and
should not
something's
go down there.
definitely hostile down there.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily. Like, at a game, you know that, but in game, you just know your bird got hit by something.
Well,
Oh,
something
That's true.
killed it.
Or
That
it
is-
ran into a wall.
No, I mean it was flying around like we could see it.
Yeah, something definitely did take out your owl, but you're not sure if it's extremely hostile or the like. You just know your bird got taken out.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's extremely hostile, but I know it doesn't like owls.
So there's definitely something down there. Just don't know what it is.
And I like owls, so
And
Looks
then
like
there
it.
was the message. I closed the hole back up just in case. It might be a good idea. I closed
It's
it.
like a little door, so you just close it, put the Thrown
Before
back
you
on
close I prestidigitation the smell of like farts down there, and then I shut it.
All right. Fart. Closed door.
So now
Like
we
that.
have an opportunity to think about what to do. We may be in the place of that silent village or something, Tolwyn, that you made mention before. This place is definitely filled with some unusual ghosts, and there is definitely something down there. There's all this coinage here that we can't all take with us at the moment, and we aren't quite making progress forward. So, what
I'm definitely thinking that this place was really reminding me of the Lair of the Lost Ones.
they are the
Caves-
lost ones.
A cave system that is said to house the souls of the departed and an ancient beast of old.
What do you remember about this tale?
There's
That's
a tale
it.
saying we should go down into the hole.
Honestly, not much, Tolwyn. Examining and viewing the information you already have, you can tell that from historical context and from rumors, this became a old wives' tale. A simple screeching of the night where people are just warned not to travel into the mountains late at night, lest the fog and smoke consume your soul, lest the traveler is departed, and lest your soul is bound to the mountain itself, wailing and crying until the night falls once more, and until the day breaks when the crying stops once more. It's honestly just a spooky, scary story from what you can tell, but that's the information you have.
Day breaks, huh? Perhaps it doesn't sound like defeating the creature, even if we could, would necessarily make the day happen again. Perhaps there's something else we need to do.
I'm really not sure.
Well, this is your adventure, Tolwyn. You make the choice.
Again,
Sorry, but
all you guys' choices, and I'm pretty sure it was Talon and Kaithal that found this place.
No, it's Tolwyn's adventure. He's the one who wanted to come here.
I mean, he found the information, and so your group did find out that an evil one named Scarlet is here. Well, I wouldn't say evil, but I would say you guys would think so.
Here? I don't recall Scarlet being
if
here.
Tolan wanted to come here,
It was your
Taylor wanted to
vision,
come here.
Cerberus.
No, wait, but I don't recall her saying she wanted to specifically come to this place.
No, in the mountains, though. We don't know where she
Yeah.
is in the mountains.
Sorry.
Yes, I know that part, but not this location specifically.
Oh, yeah. I was just,
Yeah.
while in the midst of looking for her and for clues, we've come across this place that seems to match with one of the legends I found out about the area.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and this is your adventure. You wanted to do this here while we were going to the wedding. This is your.
well, I would definitely... Tolan
Well-
would definitely say, like, I think that if we can lay these souls to rest, we should. And I think we should be careful about this treasure, because I'm concerned that whatever is below here may have laid claim to it, and perhaps the souls of those who are here. It is odd that we haven't found any bodies, and we've only found ghosts for about half the people in that picture. And there was that their leader with the strange missing eye. It just seemed wrong. So I'm concerned that there may be more at foot here. If we've been led to this spot on our quest, perhaps we are here to rid the world of some great evil or to save these people's souls and help them move on. I think we should do what we can. I don't think we found this place by chance. We've been directed. We've a clear message from the gods that we should try to do good here.
Tolwyn, look. Talon says, "You look. One, you try to help people all the time. It's gonna get you killed. Two, I like you, and you helped me out a lot. I promised you I'd help you, so I'm with you. So I guess we have to help people, even if I don't want to. So I'm with you on this."
Don't worry, Talon. We'll still get to your sister's wedding. Hell, we may be able to get something interesting as a wedding gift.
I don't want to do that either. And you get her. Remember, we might have to go kill a bunch of people. Just so you know.
I remember.
Okay.
So, Talon, you wish
It could be a wedding gift.
You wish to continue onward. So, do you want to deal with the ghost first, or do you want to deal with the creature down there first?
Let's wait here for a minute and can I cast detect magic and see, open the hole up again and see if, what I see down there?
Sure.
Also, while I'm doing that, can I set up my little brazier and cast Find Familiar next?
How long does it take?
Each of those is going to take 10 minutes. An hour, yeah. I think it's an hour.
It'd take an hour for the familiar.
Then I guess you guys are taking a short rest.
Yeah, I mean we don't know where we're going or what we're doing, so I don't see any issue with taking a short rest. For him to re-summon his familiar, because it could be useful.
Yeah, well, I'll resummon it, but before we take a short rest, I'll take 10 minutes to cast detect magic and see what I see down there. Maybe maybe it's something magical. It ran into a trap or something.
When he does that, I use divine sense when he opens the door.
All right.
Yeah, good idea.
Go ahead and post your spells. After 10 minutes of just ritualistically casting your spells, Talon, you open the door and immediately get hit by a very, very bad smell because you get farting in the hole. After a little bit of clearing, you detect no magic down there other than the magic around you. There are no real magical items there, but there is a magical presence, like that of a living creature or a living person or something of that nature. But no ancient tome or ceremonial blade of old. It's more like there's something alive down there. You don't get that.
I mean, does it I feel it's down there. I mean, does it feel like it's massive? Does it feel does it feel I can't feel anything?
It feels like this type of energy is in the room, but you get no real discernible clues on how big, which is itself a clue, but I'm not going to tell you how clear that descriptor is.
Got it. Do I hear anything? Is there any sounds coming from down there?
There are creakings here and there, some sliding of rock that you would hear in the mountains, but you're technically inside of a mountain, so that technically shouldn't work because it would need a wide space for that to do that.
Well, I wouldn't interpret these sounds as any type of communication, would I?
No, it's not some type of communication.
I didn't mean to hit that, sorry.
Sanctuary.
Well, I guess then I'll find familiar after that. Phew.
All right.
And we'll take a short rest, so I'll cast that.
As you do so, Cerberus begins to enchant and cast some information on what to find down there. to see if they can't discern undead, celestial being, some type of fae, celestial fae, or fiend.
That's your undead.
Is it? Oh, it's fine familiar that I'm reading. My bad. Divine sense, celestial fiend, or undead. And you sense none of that down there. But again, you get the overall area that you're currently in. So no change there.
Okay.
But after an hour, your bird has returned to you.
You could just use the gold that's here since it's
Lucky.
consumed.
Do you?
No, I don't touch it. You can touch that gold.
I just thought I'd make mention of it. Since it's consumed, you're not keeping it on your person.
Yeah, but I don't want to touch it. I don't like it.
Can I call down into the hole? I'll try each of the languages I know: Common, Draconic, Druidic, Elvish, Primordial, and Sylvan. And I'll just I'll try calling out in each one of those languages, like, hello, is anyone down there? Can you understand me?
You speak in each of these languages once more here and there, and you don't hear anything. At least nothing in your languages, your primary languages, that is. But you continue to hear that those echoes of retreat, of warning, and you realize that after a while, it's just become a constant. You've put it in the back of your mind. But when you open this doorway once more, you hear that type of speech pattern once more. Nothing seems to come about, but whether they understand you or not, they didn't respond in your languages.
Hey, Tolan, why don't you cast Gust down there and see if you can clear up some of the fog?
I could certainly try. Why don't you, can you drop another one of those coins with light on it down there? And that way, while we're doing that, we'll actually be able to see.
Yeah, it's been in like an hour, so you would need to do that anyways.
Just grab a
Grab a new coin,
Just grab a rock.
and because I've already picked it up off the ground and I don't care anymore, I pick up another one and cast light and drop it.
That same tingly feeling, but nothing comes about it. You drop it.
I'm all about tempting fate. Let's do it.
Once again, it gets consumed by the fog, but overall, it's still active, just shining a light in the mist.
And after he does that, I will use Gust of Wind again, and sort of lean down the hole and sort of start panning this wall of wind, kind of like panning around the area, trying to see what I can see now. Try to blow the mist out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Range self 60-foot line. Target self 60-foot line. Duration concentration up to 1 minute. The line strong, 60-foot long range, 60 blah 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 10. For the duration spell, the creature that starts its turn must succeed a strength saving throw and push it away, or be pushed away. Any creature in line 2 feet must move every foot. 1 foot moves, moving closer to you. The gust disperses gas or vapor, and it extinguishes candles, torches, and similar unprotected flames in the area. It causes protected flames, such as those lanterns, to dance wildly and cause a 50% chance to extinguish them. As the bonus action on each of your turns before the spell ends, you can change the direction in which the line blasts from you. Yeah, you can easily do that. As you basically have you as the focal point of the gust, it shoots down and you begin to waver the gust out of the area. It is a taxing feat as you're quite literally trying to change the environment. But as you do so, you can tell those weird warblings in the fog. There's a lot of them that just move away from that epicenter.
Okay. And do I see anything?
I'm going to say no because they made their save. Or it made it
Okay.
save. Or they made
Okay.
their save.
I'm wonder if the fog itself is a creature.
I don't think I've ever run into a creature that was made of fog. But there could be things hidden in it that are simply moving out of the way. A wall of wind is not exactly subtle.
I keep thinking about an odd legend about something Hydra.
Hmm.
Well, we either go down and find out, or we leave the cave at this point. And I'm gonna start tying a rope. Is there anything up here I can tie a rope to that looks like it's sturdy enough? If not, I'll just have Duroc tie it to him, and hopefully his big metal body will be big enough or heavy enough not to drop us.
They are, but there are like stalagmites in the area you can tie yourself off to, or if you have an explorer's pack, I think they have a pike, so you can just pike it into the ground or into the wall, and you'll be fine.
Pitons.
Pigeons.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing that and dropping the rope down, but I'm not quite climbing down yet. I'm still waiting to see what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
But I am making it clear that I am ready to go to the next part of the adventure. Death will be the greatest adventure. Let's go tempt it.
Yep.
Tolan, are you for it?
Yes, I just want to double check first. DM, did everyone have a look at that photo I saw with the guy with the missing eye?
I think so. I think mainly you and Cerberus. I'm going to say everyone could have.
Okay, I was just wondering if anybody else, because I know you said that it seemed off to me, like the way that his eye was missing, that it seemed really off to me.
Mhm.
I was wondering if anybody else's background or experience might have given them some insight that I didn't have.
Maybe.
Well, I guess I have more scientific understanding of biology. Did it seem like the eye was more center mass, like a cyclops? Or did the eye seem structurally alien for a humanish body? Like me taking an eye out of a cat and putting it into the head of a human?
It felt, or at least looked like a natural given eye to that of a human. But it did feel structurally wrong. Even though there was no course or correlation for that. It just felt wrong. This is more not scientifically proof, but I suppose we can use that. Cerberus, go ahead and you roll on nature. Best guess, and from what you can tell, this type of phenomenon is something akin to an image, an illusion, or something of that nature. This might not have been its true form, but it felt to everyone else around it like it was natural, but as an outside observer, you felt something off, you felt something wrong. Same with Tolan, but you can also tell that based off of what you're feeling now, it was as if something interjected itself within the group, and then after a while, it led the group. Who knows what happened after that, after the photo was taken? Because the photo does look older than 5 years, which was the point in time when this cave system was closed down. But it's hard to tell how old it is. But you can tell that the being in the middle, the leader, by definition of viewpoint, something is wrong about them. That's not the way they're supposed to look. That there is something there, but you don't know what. It's just not right.
Oh, Tolan, now that I think about it, now that you remind me, I think I recognize something now. How should I explain how biology works? Usually when you look at something, it doesn't seem alien to you, but sometimes when something's alien for some reason, you can get really scared and frightened of it. But if it's something that you constantly interject yourself with, it becomes familiar, and so you're no longer scared. There is definitely something off about this image, and I think I might know why. I'm honestly surprised anymore these creatures are even here. and I'd almost forgotten about it. And my people never came across one, and I don't think we would want to. But we do have some understanding of this creature, if it is what I think it is, due to our rather abhorrent studies. It might be one of the chain link races, like a doppelganger. And they have a certain tell. No matter how good they transform, there are certain tells you can tell. I don't quite remember what they are, but I do know they always give off a sense of alienness.
Perhaps I should wear this better. You can tell that something about the image that doesn't seem to represent them. The eye itself, however, looks the most natural to the being, but placed on the body of this human is what strikes the contrast between the two.
Okay, sorry. Scratch that and rewind, if you please. Sorry, DM, I misunderstood what you were saying.
No,
okay,
it's fine.
So scratch that, Tolan, and rewind. Sorry. Based upon, now that you tell me, Tolan, now that I remember, it seems more like the eye is more real than the body is. If that makes any sense. Like maybe the eye is possessing this body, or the body is possessing the eye. I wouldn't say it's unnatural per se, but it's more like what would happen if I took my own eye out of my own head and replace it with one of your eyes. Both of us are humans, but you could probably tell that your eye wouldn't necessarily fit me per se. It's kind of like that. In a way.
Can I check and kind of just gently scratch at the image and see if there is another person, the image of another person underneath this one, like it's been painted over or something?
You go over, grab the image, come back, begin to scratch it. And you can tell that you are scratching it, but as you remove it from the framework, nothing seems to peel off.
Whatever's going on here, though, I'm not quite understanding, but I believe that we may be dealing with something that is trick to these people, and that may be why they're not at rest. I think we should proceed below and see and find out what we can find.
Do you think it might be a remnant from the outer planes?
I have no idea.
They keep speaking about an eye creature, and it makes me think like a beholder or something.
I don't know. I'm more familiar with bunny rabbits.
I understand.
Sorry, that was funny.
Should we try from the ceiling in looking around, or you want to climb down the rope?
I'm gonna go ahead and start climbing down the rope.
Yeah, I'll follow.
I think I will start off on the ceiling myself.
Okay. And then I will have Duroc jump down last. I don't know if he'll take damage. I'm sure he will, but I don't know if I can have. Is there? Oh, you know what? Never mind. I will cast my levitation spell.
Don't use
Oh,
telekinesis.
maybe not. Okay, I'm not going to use the telekinesis.
Dude, it's quite simple, man. You can just what's that thing about how you can go down a rope? It's sort of like bending yourself in the middle.
I know what you're talking about.
You can just carry the thing down with you.
I don't
you
know,
can
it's a
type
bunch of metal. But either way, here I'll do this. I'll tie the rope around Duroc and lower him down first, because if he gets tore up, I can rebuild him.
Yeah.
If he suddenly gets eaten like a worm on a hook. So I will lower him to the ground, and then
You should just drop him on purpose and break him and get down there and just
and then I'll follow after I drop him down or put him down.
You tie him up, bring him down all the way to the ground where the line of sight is most visible, which would be the coin. Placing them down, you do hear that they bark up at you, which means that they're fine for now. So you begin to climb down, and so do others of you. Who's doing the whole roof thing?
I am doing the roof.
Okay.
Question.
Yes.
Can the picture be taken off the wall?
Yeah. Tolwyn has it now.
Can we look on the back side of the picture? And is there anything on the wall behind the picture?
You flip it around. Well, first you look at the picture, seeing if there's anything behind the picture. There doesn't seem to be anything dramatic, but it does seem to be taken inside of the forest. Inside of the forest. And then you think about it. You are on a mountaintop, and this is definitely not a forest. Wherever they were, or wherever they took the picture, that environment is not right. But when you flip it over, you can tell that it is on parchment paper. Not impossible to put an image on there due to, magic. But you can tell that nothing is off about it off of first glance.
And what's on the wall behind the picture?
Oh, on the actual cave wall.
That and behind the
just cave
picture. Just what?
Just cave wall. On the picture itself or behind the people, in the background is a forest area, which doesn't connect with these two areas.
All three things. So there's a stone wall, just blank stone wall behind the picture?
When you remove the picture, yeah. When you flip the picture backwards behind it, it's blank. When you look at the picture and look behind the people, it's a forest.
And if I try rubbing the forest area, does anything change?
You, make some creases in the area.
Just that I check.
Yeah.
Alright. Here you go, Tolwyn, thanks.
And we go down the hole.
Okay. So only service on roof?
Yes.
Okay. As you go down the hole, you eventually make it inside the fog. Service, you're on top of the area, just looking down, and you can tell that the fog is thicker as you go further and further down. As your team descends further down, Service, you don't have dark vision, but you can tell where the light omitting is where your companions are. As Talon, Tolwyn, Kythal, Kythal's dog, whose name I keep forgetting even though it's there.
That's cool. You just call it a dog or a wolf, I don't care.
I'm pretty sure it was Enya Darak, but I can't fully remember. I'm bad with names. Anyways, and Bird go down there. I don't think Talon's ever given the owl a name because lost that thing about 4 times now. So don't name your pets if you keep losing them. Heading down there. Well, familiars. You all are now in this area where the light is shining. And while you're in there, you can tell, dark vision, Talon, just a human. You can tell that there are shadows about. Service, even with your slight perception issue, you can discern after hanging on the overhang, there are some shadows moving about. Not close to the light, but around it. But you can't tell one way or the other what they are or what they appear to be. They just seem to be long.
Like tentacles.
Long. I'm not saying yes or no.
I'm gonna cast Sense Emotion.
Sense emotion, 1 action, up to 10 minutes. You tune your senses to pick up the emotions of others for the duration. When you cast a spell, verbal, somatic, so you don't need vision. When you cast a spell and as your action on each until the spell ends, you focus your senses on one humanoid you can see within 30 feet of you. as you cast Sense Emotion, I don't even need to finish that description. You sense your team's emotions when you hone in here and there. Some are a little worried, others are stoic, looking at Taylor. And Cerberus on the roof, you can barely see, I guess, since it's thinner that way. Sure. I'm gonna give you that one. Hesitant concern. But you don't detect these things emotions since you can't see them. But as you stepped into this area once more, you get those emotions, not those emotions, but those messages again and again, over and over. Not just you, but Talon, Kythal, and Cerberus. What do you guys do?
Same thing as before.
You've gotten these messages beforehand when you were in the fog, in the mountains, trying to go higher to the peaks.
You sense me getting a little frustrated.
Any ideas? There's something down here, or some things down here, and I can hear those voices again. But
When we're looking around, do we see any walls, like a tunnel anywhere?
You on a wall, you can discern that there's various areas here that you can see. As you scope out as far as you can, though, this area is pretty big. And you have a hard time discerning where the walls are. It's just the fog causes an issue, and also the darkness causes an issue. For one such as human, that is troubling for the most part.
I can't really... There seems to be maybe tunnels around here, but I can't really tell. I was thinking maybe we could try collapsing them.
well, we don't know what they're for yet.
And we don't know if these people are hostile yet. I'm going to send... I'm sorry, go ahead, Tolan.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I'm going to send Duroc just in one direction until he gets to a wall, and then have him come back. If he gets attacked along the way, obviously I'll have him call out, but just to judge, I guess, wherever a wall is, one wall, because at this point I don't like having nothing at my back. I want to have something behind me so I know something's in front of me.
Yeah. I want you to go ahead and roll Duroc's perception.
Perception for the dog. Okay, hold on. Perception is right there.
As Duroc moves into the shadows where it believes K systems are, based off of the shadow formations in the fog, it begins to rush and move over. After some time, you can tell that the footprints and footsteps are leading behind you. So when you turn around, you are surprised, maybe, when you see Duroc just behind you now. Maybe they got lost.
Okay. I just tilt my head and look at him, and maybe there's something wrong with his programming. I will have to double check that.
Tolwyn, it looks like the issue with the fog outside is also approaching the same thing in here.
Well, let's see if we can't shed a little light on this. And I'm going to start firing off produce flames in different directions and trying to see if the little bolts of fire impact walls around us.
Okay, go ahead and cast your spell.
It's just, let's see, what's the range?
30 feet.
30 feet.
Flickering flame opens and appears in your hand. The flames, therefore, duration horns that are in our equipment. The flame sheds bright light, 10 feet radius, dim light for a radius of 10 feet. Addition, the spell, if dismissed, action cast, you also attack with a flame. Although doing so ends the spell, when you cast the spell, the action on a later turn, you can hurl the flame at the creature within 30 feet of you. You make a ranged spell attack on a hit. 1d8 fire damage. As you begin to cast Produce Flame in a more or less attacking motion, you begin to jettison out here and there. Service, are you like watching them, or are you like looking around, keeping an eye on the door, keeping an eye on the rope, keeping an eye on the ground?
I'm trying to look everywhere, just taking precaution, looking at my group, looking where the rope was coming from. I'm just looking everywhere, just keeping an overwatch.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception check. Disadvantage due to fog, but if you're directing like your vision on your companions, advantage because of the light, so just a flat roll. But the area around you would be just disadvantage because you don't really discern too much. So I'll take the 20 as your companion's light area and 8 for the overall area. As shoots of light are just jettisoned out around 360, Talon, Tolwyn, Kythal, Cerberus, you can tell that they go 30 feet, and nothing seems to be impacted. However, once you hit or throw it northeast, something does get hit, and in a brief instance, you try to look where it's at. And you can tell Cerberus that something was hit, but you can't discern what it is, and then moved away from it. Everyone with your past perceptions of 13 can discern that something moved away from where you hit.
I have passive perception of 15.
You notice that.
Tolwyn, in the northeast, something definitely gotten hit by your fire and moved.
Yes.
It's right there.
I saw it too.
Should we pursue?
If you like, it's
Yes,
your
be careful.
adventure.
I believe we should.
I move forward with them with their light they're carrying.
No one's carrying anything. They just chucked a whole bunch of fire.
Well, yeah, like I'll just like keep bringing Produce Flames up into my hand as like a torch.
Okay.
It's a
As you're,
cantrip, so I can do it as much as I want.
yeah,
so.
as you're heading over there with Produce Flame in hand, I want everyone to go ahead and roll dexterity saving throws. Flat, because you're carrying a light. I was about to say, Service, you're fine. You're on roof. So you especially don't do something.
Oh, and then this second roll is for the dog. I forgot about it.
I'm glad I'm
Okay.
posted.
First one is me. Second one is dog.
Yeah, my second one's for the owl.
Owl can fly. I think they're fine.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on.
I didn't know what that means.
Okay. So immediately, when everyone's
I got a
rushing
17 then.
out of the area, Taylor, how do you have a 17?
Severus being you?
Service is on the roof.
Yeah, he's like 60 feet up.
I thought he was all with us. I thought he was with us.
Actually, Service, what's the area of effect of
Oh,
your...
10 feet.
What was that?
10 feet.
Yeah, too far away. Like, he's not 60 feet away, but not close enough that the area effect would qualify.
It's only 10 feet. I thought you came down still. Okay.
No, it's all good. He's with you in the room, but not close enough. Talking while shouting. While you guys rush over towards the area, Tolwyn, you immediately stop, but before you can explain to others why you stopped, you see Kythal disappear. You see Talon disappear. You see Darok disappear. The only ones still remaining here are you and Cerberus, as you see a pit hole just swallow up your companions. Now into further shadows, you look down to try to see what's going on, but all you see is the rim of the abyss, and, well, nothing beyond 10 feet. Even with your non-dark vision, you ask Talon to come over to see what they can see, and they see nothing past 10 feet as well. But whatever was moving in that direction, you feel that it went into this hole.
Well, we're
Yeah.
definitely following.
Hello? Can you guys hear us? Are you
Uh,
Can we
okay?
hear him?
Python, you can hear him. You're only maybe, if you had to guess, what's your passive perception?
13.
Maybe 60 feet away. For some reason, you just fell and everything else fell with you. But before you hit the ground, you felt as if you were sloped down. Like some type of slide or the like, which didn't kill you, which is good, but I don't know, maybe you just have the best luck or the worst luck, because now you're in a pitch black hole. You can't see past 10 feet.
I yell back up to them that if you come down slow, you might be able to make it.
Hold on,
Just
don't
be
move.
careful.
Hold on, don't move from there. I go back to the rope, I climb down, and then go to where the light is.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Catch up to rest team. You're there.
Alright, I got my own pack here, and I have some pitons, and I push them into the ground on as much hard as I can, tie the rope onto them, and slick a rope down.
You do so.
We can use this for extra leverage. Are we going to go ahead start heading down, Tolan?
Yeah. Just let me try going down just a little bit first, and I'm gonna use the rope to climb down like 15 feet. Do I lose sight of them?
You lose sight of everything except
Okay.
for the rope and 10 feet up and 10 feet down.
You have
Okay.
spider-
Does this seem like an unnatural darkness to me?
It
does seem
does.
magical?
It feels magical. It's definitely not natural, at least not the natural state of things you're accustomed to. But you have heard
Yeah.
of this type of phenomenon happening in nature, but it's usually due to some connection with some horror, some aberration, or something of the like. If it stayed there for long enough, it starts to affect the area.
So I will call up and say, you can come down, but I think there's something here. I think this is the lair of something evil.
You say to
This darkness is unnatural.
you say to servers who you can't see, but servers you can hear them.
And I'll keep going down.
I nod. I try to prepare myself as much as I can. I take out a torch, light it up. Use it with one. Actually, I can tie it to myself to my back to have it going off to my side a little bit, so it probably warms up my left side, and I'll use my spider slippies and the rope to help make myself go down.
Okay. You're wearing armor, so it shouldn't burn you too bad, so I'm not gonna make you take damage. And you can honestly just climb it. You're pretty athletic. So you begin to climb down using your spider slippers to make sure you don't fall. You eventually catch up to Tolwyn, and you both meet each other. With your light, you believe that the extended amount you're creating and he's creating would expand beyond, normal means from what you can see. But no, as you peer around, only 10 feet around you is visible in all directions. And Kythel and Talon, when you look up, the same. You can't see anyone, you can just hear them. As you guys eventually make it down with everyone, you try to make it down with everyone, but you were 10 feet maybe from the ground. It's definitely a jumpable 10 feet, so you won't take any damage. And at that point, everyone can see each other.
I am
Tolan
going
will drop
to.
down.
I'm going to quietly ask Talon if he wants to cast his dispel magic and try to get rid of this darkness around us.
I don't think that's going to work. I don't think it's that.
I don't know how it works, to be honest.
I did not prepare that spell, unfortunately.
Oh, some kind of wizard you are.
Counter spell, not dispel magic, unfortunately.
Well, okay.
I'm actually more interested in Kythel holding telekinesis ready, we should be able to grab this creature.
I certainly will.
And also, Service, are you getting off the rope or are you staying on there, just like talking to people?
No, I'm trying to follow Tolan.
Oh, Telvin already jumped down. He's fine.
Then yeah, I try following him.
Okay. Soon after, Service hops aboard with everyone else. At this point in time, the rope is invisible, but you mark the area, like on the ground, to indicate where it may be.
I was actually going to say, when we had a moment, that I would be making edges into the ground with my death sword to try to give some kind of inclination on where the rope is.
Sure. You use your blade to etch into the ground. When you're here, however... No, you guys don't get a save, technically. Well, technically, it doesn't get a save.
Tolwyn, is your sense emotion still up? I don't think it's been 10 minutes, right? Do you sense it near us?
It's been about 10 minutes. I'm going to say it's 9 minutes. Sure, I'll give you that one. Even worse than before. Because now it's magical darkness.
Yep. I can't tell anything. I'm gonna bend down with my light and look at the ground and see if there's anything odd there, any markings, anything like that.
As you do so, you can tell that there are markings, grooves, really, as if things have been slithering in the area, causing indents. The only way this would happen with cobblestone would be a long time. Based off the grooves and etchings, also, whatever this thing is very big, and maybe a lot of them by the amount that there are. You also see from time to time when you hover in the light area, things or creatures made out of stone or something of that nature. You see a small little owl in stone-like structure as if someone carved it out. You do see more or less a marble statue of someone frozen in place, leaning against the wall as if someone put it there and then just forgot about it. Whatever this place is, it definitely has decorum. Awkward decorum, but it does have it.
Player knowledge. Now I'm thinking it's a Medusa.
Yeah, so can I make some kind of check to see if I recognize these tracks?
Yeah.
What might have made them?
Yeah, go ahead and roll nature. No. Oh, yes. I was going to say no. It would be something else, but I'm not going to take that natural 20 away from you.
I can tell you what the total would have been with a 20 on whatever else you wanted me to roll.
Religion.
Religion would have been exact same thing,
Nice.
actually.
As you begin to observe the area, examining the more or less structured form of these weird congroovement areas, you can tell that the grooves and things of that nature aren't as if a body was slithering through it. No, it's as if something along the lines of in concept, thin pattern of body moving through it, as if something from the main body was slithering around it. Whatever this thing is was not its main form, but you can tell that there's a multitude of these. So it's not just one thing slithering about for the longest time, it's multiple things slithering about from the main body, causing these grooves and indents. Whatever this thing is, it's just one solitary thing. It just has a lot of other things just outstretching from the main body. Based off the pattern, the structured form, you can tell that the way it looks and the way it resembles some type of nature, it almost feels as if they're type of nerve endings just being thrown about, or not thrown about really, but being grooved into the ground over and over again. Not a solid mass, but some type of tether or connection. And when you begin to take these things from point to point, you have heard of something of this nature, or something historically of this nature. you are a learned person, knowing of the gods, even though they don't fully converse with everyone anymore. You can tell that at ancient times, there were things that came pretty close, or if not, were gods, but maybe not recognized by everyone. Based off of all these patterns, inclinations, this information, you would consider this an aberration, being a deity perhaps of an aberration, but you're not sure which one. You just do know that it is not necessarily good or evil, just something that doesn't belong in this world. And when the rest of the other worlds were severed off, it was displaced here.
Question, DM.
Yes.
I thought technicality that all aberrations were evil.
It's a no. Aberration just means something that doesn't belong. And most of the time that just means that aberrations like beholders, mind flayers, and etc., are classified as evil due to the fact that they don't understand the same concepts as humanoids. Like, they understand that, yeah, I need people to work, but they don't understand of, yeah, I need people to work, so enslave them.
I thought mind flayers were not aberrations.
I'm just giving a general viewpoint. Like,
Yeah.
they are evil
Aberration.
in the context of, if you look in the book, but they're not necessarily evil by nature. That's just they don't understand the same kind of moral alignment as everyone else.
Yeah. Aberration really just means like comes from a different sphere. So like in D&D, like different planet or dimension. Or it could be like the result. A lot of aberrations are also like failed wizards experiments or successful wizards experiments, depending how you look at it. What the goal was.
Possibles were abominations.
But you are correct, Service. In the book, they are classified as evil.
Yeah. So Tolan will immediately cast Shillelagh on his staff and whisper urgently to everybody else to be on guard. We may be in the lair of an otherworldly being, almost a god.
As you cast, go ahead.
As I understand, there is an actual dimension of aberrant beings. Is that the type of aberrant you're referring to, DM?
More or less, I can't say yes or no.
I just wanted to make sure for context of this world, and your world because of the whole severing and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I never gave a definite time where my little realm was created. So can I leave it up to you, DM, if my people would know anything about the aberrant plane and aberrant creatures? Because I don't think normally my people would have taken an aberrant creature due to how alienish they are.
Here's the thing, Cerberus. Yes, they would, because your people have more or less the same type of viewpoint as them.
Well, then
They might have done business with these type of things. They might have conducted themselves with one another. It's not to say that they would grab them and put them in a circus. It's more like, oh, my fellow person, how do you do?
So it's not aberrant to me. Well, it is, but I meant in my society it's not aberrant.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I understand then how my character would react. I guess it would probably be saying a very hairy dog.
Depends on what it is. But based off of context clues, Towan might have a better idea.
And it's big.
It's
It's very big.
Hey, Tolwyn.
Taylor would be like, Tolwyn, I told you to tell me about the gods. I didn't want to see them.
And
This
when you,
one's no god.
who has a passive perception of 18?
Not me.
Nope.
30.
Okay. It
Nope.
needed to be
That's
so
okay.
high because you're in pitch black darkness. But no matter what, you are going to see what happens afterwards. As you look around trying to see where this aberration is, you do feel something is off in the air. When you go and try to examine it, you do feel and smell something burning.
Everyone back to back. And Tolan, what do you mean by aberrant?
I mean, a creature not of this world, ancient and evil.
I shrug. I could probably define that by almost anything. Can you be more specific? As we are all getting back to each other.
I'll say these grooves on the ground are not many creatures. They are appendages of some larger creature. Something that's been here long enough and is strong enough to create this area of darkness that simply persists.
Tolwyn, you are aware that where I am from, the type of creature you're talking about sounds like a beast of burden to me, or a pet.
Or your neighbor.
That too.
I do not know. All I know is that this type of thing here,
Perfect.
they have a reputation, and it is not good. Be on guard. And
Come on, just help it.
All right. As you be on guard back to back, you look around trying to perceive something in the ocean. And then soon enough, something does fall on Kythal. It's pretty heavy, and it causes you to flinch. As you turn around to see what it is a rope.
Shit. It might be our rope that I tied to go down here.
So did the rope fall like one part of the rope, or did it like the whole thing drop from the top?
As you go in to like grab the rope and to see how much fell off of it, around 25 feet, give or take. But you do see that one end is severed with some type of dust or debris, as if someone burnt through it.
Time to go.
I don't think we can go. That was our way out.
We can just
I
use
got
our
another rope.
stickers.
I got another rope.
And if something severed this thing 5 feet from the top, then if you're climbing up, you're gonna be a target.
True.
Technically, we can
A
just...
rope is 50
We're all
feet, so
All targets.
Oh.
you guys just need to jump 25 feet? No, wait, it's 60 feet
I'll
down.
do that.
45 feet.
I thought you said there was a slide.
I mentioned Kythal and Talon felt as if they slid down something. I never said there was a slide. I said as if a slide.
the small owl statue that we could see, does it look familiar?
It
like a familiar?
kind of does, now that you look at it.
Yeah. I don't think that these are statues. Or I don't think that these statues started out as stone, friends. And I think that we are maybe have walked into a trap. And I apologize.
You apologize. I'm the one that told us to come down here and tied the rope.
Usually Severus is the one that leads us into traps. It's okay.
Is there a reason, Pele, your question, is there a reason your character is currently picking on me when it's obviously so obvious that it's not my fault? This time? This time.
I just tell us everybody's fine. I like Tolwyn better. And I can't make fun of Kythal because he's the same race as me, so he's the only person I can make fun of.
Tolwood is human too.
I know, but I like him.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
like, character-wise. My character doesn't like you. He just said, I can't like everybody. It's no fun. I have to argue with somebody.
It was a question about this situation currently, not any other one, just this one.
It's just his character being an asshole.
I'm just being a dick.
I was just wondering because it seemed a little odd that in this sort of situation that my character would be your
Oh yeah,
target.
it's still your fault. No, it's still your fault. It's always your fault.
It's the same concept of I don't care whose fault it is. I just need to blame someone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes more sense then. I didn't get it. Sorry.
It's all good. As you begin to look around you, you do feel a waving motions as if something is picking up in the area. When you look around, you can barely perceive anything, but then it begins to get clearer and clearer. And then that weird vaporous smoke, that fog you've seen before, begins to envelop this area once more. As it gets clearer, the area itself becomes more foggier, but it is surprisingly enough helping push the darkness away. And unfortunately, maybe that's not something you wanted.
Oh, wow.
And I close my eyes and just like look through the eyes of my familiar.
I have my shield in front of my face to try to not look into this thing.
Ah.
Well, it is technically the map. It's also technically not the map, so keep that in mind.
You think
The most beautiful map I've ever seen in my life.
This is
So,
pretty cool.
It's not exactly this big then.
No, it is!
It
Are you
is this
saying
big.
technically or tentacly?
Both?
The creature we're trying to fight is literally this big.
It's that big. Maybe bigger.
Then it's game over. We're dead.
That's what she said.
As you see this thing, like, just staring at you with multiple eyes, you can tell that the fog, the weird miasma, has pushed the darkness away. And you do see what has been keeping this place at bay, or perhaps keeping you at bay. As you look at it, you hear that voice once more. Those voices of concern or issue, or just telling you to go back. You don't need Talen's comprehend languages to know that whatever that voice was, whatever it is, this thing is emitting those sounds into the air. And looking at you, you can tell that this thing continues to give you some type of warning, some type of wording. And then it says something to you that you don't fully understand. And to break the illusion, does anyone have deep speech? I don't think anyone does.
No, I did consider taking it at one point, but no, I don't.
No, I do not.
No.
Yeah. I checked it before, but with your current level up, I didn't check it this time, so wasn't sure if anyone grabbed the language. But
We don't get a language with the level up.
you can get a feat from time to time. And some of those feats are language-based. But that's neither here nor there. As you begin to just hear these repetitional patterns, you can tell that the eye stalks do get closer to you. They're not violently acting, but they are staring at you. One by one, they get closer until each of them surround you. But when you look at them, you can tell that more and more eyes are not even close to you. It's not as if this thing is trying to surround you fully, just observing you.
Can I do something?
Sure.
I try to speak out in the native-ish language of my old home, and I'll ask, "Hey, Steve, is that you?"
You speak in a dialect of common, and maybe infernal. Just calling out for Steve. While you have never seen a Steve this size, due to the fact that from where you come from, it's not uncommon to see something like this. Just, you didn't expect it to be so big. Ever. So not really concerning for your current form. You don't understand its message when it says something once more, but you hear it in your mind, not out loud, as depicted many, many times beforehand. And none of you seem to understand what it says. And when it observes you not fully understanding, you do see something happening. It's not as if it is going to attack you, but rather something in front of the main eye is forming. Not some type of beam weapon, but some shape is being constructed. And when it is finalized, you do see an eye move forwards and envelop that weird miasmic shape as the miasma envelops the eye, and then forms a body of a very small... To Cerberus, a Steve. To everyone else, you're not entirely sure, based off of everyone's backgrounds.
Steve, is that you over there? I can't really tell with all the mist.
You told me it would be this big.
What are you doing here? And how did you even get here?
Moving forwards and changing the music, because this is Waterway.
You're
and
super dead.
More effective. One Steve moves forwards, and in a language you're accustomed to, at least maybe, at first, does anyone know Undercommon?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Can you do Celestial? I can do that.
Okay, I didn't hear Fox, so I'm going to assume no. When it states its message in Undercommon, and you guys are more acquisitively not understanding, it then repeats itself in a different language that you do know. Common. In your native tongue, you can tell that it is not speaking out loud, rather, as beforehand, this thing is speaking within your minds. But it is moving its maw as if it is speaking. And if you didn't already know the whole mind thing, you would swear it was speaking. And inside of all of your minds, you do hear, "What brings you here today?"
Tolan, do you want to go or?
So we are looking for Scarlet, and while on the way, we thought it might be nice to visit the village of sorry, what was it called again? Heat Point. And we came across this cave while we were traveling through the mists and found those souls above who seemed to have not passed on, and were wondering what was going on with this place. Who are you?
Looking at you and observing what you ask of it, it does simply state, "What am I is irrelevant. What you desire is elsewhere. I have stated many times for you to return back to the place you came from, to go back, to find the place you are searching for. And yet your kind still does not understand.
One
We
of our
thought
many
perhaps it
failings.
was-
Sorry about that.
Thought perhaps it was a test.
Isn't Heat Point supposed to be like a monastery?
It's top of the mountain range, a village called Heat Point, a place people go to train to gain knowledge of oneself and their connection to the world. 98% of people perish before ever getting close to the top.
So yeah, monastery. Thought it was a test. Sorry about that, man.
More or less being nonchalantly to this very, very dangerous thing. You can tell that this Steve simply does state, a test it is not, advice it was, and yet you do simply not understand once more what I tell you. You do not seem to understand what is given, like the others did not, and continue to fail. All but one.
Was it the one with the weird eye on the single eye on the painting picture thing?
No.
Who did not fail?
That is not a question, for you already know the answer.
Well, if it's alright with you, we can go ahead and turn around and leave right now.
And be lost once more.
Well, according to you, in the message, all we have to do is just backtrack or just walk backwards.
Message or not, warning, advice, each given, and you still wind up here. Why should I believe you to make any better choices? Not simply succumb to your own vices in the end.
Well, as memory serves, we did come across the mist with the message around the entrance from before. So all we had to do is backtrack back to that entrance and perhaps find another place to get to the Heat Point Village. But maybe the Heat Point Village is no longer there. Oh, Tolwyn, do you want to keep trying to find this village? Or do you want to leave?
I wish to know if this creature knows where Scarlet is.
Well, that's two different things, man. Make up your mind.
As you asked that, Tolwyn, the thing does state. Man, with any luck, I'm pronouncing this correctly. That's me. This apparition does state, the old Honest is within the mountain range.
I guess we must have went up the wrong path, man.
And yet,
I would agree with Severus at this point.
and still you expect me to believe you won't continue down the wrong path again and again, like the ones before you did. After giving advice, after giving strength, they failed. You have failed. So why should you be given another chance just to fail once more?
Oh, is it that one guy with the wolves? That must be what he was talking about. Do you think that's what he was talking about?
I do not know. But I do know that making mistakes is how we learn.
That too. Hey, Steve. Do you by chance mean the person who didn't fail was the one with the wolves way down yonder?
No.
Ah, darn. Could have sworn I got it that time.
Yeah.
Well,
Also, to everyone else, when Cerberus says Steve, you guys hear, hey, beholder. Just Cerberus is saying it is his own language, so Doesn't translate properly.
But yeah, like Tolan said, creatures like us, we make mistakes to learn. The whole thing about touching the rubric cube of, I'm just going to say a bunch of random words to describe some of the stuff that what happened in my home, to how we learned to not do stupid shit. The rubric cube, flux capacitor, and how we know not to trifecta us by touching it a little bit, or just looking at it, in order to make sure we don't do any stupid shit. It's, the normal stuff, Steve. If in order to withstand the whole, tridimensional, hypercubic strip poker and all that. You know this how it works, Steve.
You say all this, and to many it does make sense. But, air quotes, Steve does state, so you expect me to trust you, to not die, to learn, after you have told me that is not the way that you work, and that you will continue to burden yourselves with your stupidity.
It sounds like to me, Steve, that you want an action of some kind instead of a promise with words. What sort of action would you consider valid for you?
Learning. And yet you have yet... Word sentence structure there. Learning. And yet it is clear to me that you have the most difficult way of doing it. I did not bring my kind here just to have you fail again and again and again. I was not summoned here to help out during the calamity, just to see myself imprisoned in your world, to see the stupidity on the surface, to see all around me die, because they could not simply understand, because they simply could not see.
Do you want to go back?
That is irrelevant now.
Well, maybe not. Ish. DM, can you remind me how the death and knife blade work again?
What?
As I recall, you telling me the death and knife blade work by ensuring the cycle of life and death, right?
Yeah.
Well, technically, with the life and death blade, we can have this guy go back if we just use it.
Nah, you just straight up kill him.
No, these things don't exactly die like we would. This thing is supposed to go back-ish.
No.
So,
I understand that part. It's just, the way, or at least the concept of the weapons themselves, is they straight up just sever everything. Even if that's not how they normally would die, they would go back into their own plane of existence, yada, yada, yada. This place is closed off, so they would not do that. And without a place to go, and with the ultimatum of this surrounding energy from your weapons, it simply ceased to exist. Like, you're not sure if this one would be able to overcome that, but they, in your current state of mind and information, you do not know if they would return.
would they not go on the path of reincarnation? Because that's usually how this stuff works. I thought that's what you said the life and death blade does.
Possible, yeah, if taken out by Dolwyn.
Okay. Okay, that might be an option. Hey, I have to.
If you're gonna ask this thing to die.
No, that's not what I was thinking. Well, I'm trying to think outside the box, Steve. We actually might have an option to help you out, if you'd be willing to consider it.
I am to trust the word of mindless humanoids.
Well, not specifically us, per se. We weren't the ones who created the option.
I would not trust the word of those I could not see. Even still, not the word given by another that is not thee.
I see. I think I understand what you mean. They'd have to be here. Okay. Never mind, Steve.
It's more or less,
Interesting.
I am not going to trust your word that you'll give someone else's word.
Hey, Towen, my idea was, in case you wanted to know, in case it inspires you, was, well, a creature like this, like Steve over here, well, they don't. Well, the idea is that we have the death and life blade with us. The idea was that we can just send this dude on the path of reincarnation. And since they do not exist the same way we do, they should just go back to their plane and cycle of life and death and stuff. So that was my idea. We just give them a ticket out of here with the life or death blade.
I mean, it's not a devil or a demon. They don't go back to their plane of existence. They're just from another plane.
I mean, using the life, as I recall, Tobin, the life and death blade work by putting them into their proper place. Isn't that not correct, DM? That's how the life and death blade works?
The blades work in various natures. However, mainly they would put them back in their place if they belong to this world. This thing does not, although it has been here for the longest time. Clearly by its size, you can also tell that it may or may not work. You're not entirely sure. It could kill the thing, or it could put it on the path of reincarnation into some form that does belong in this world.
Okay, so my conflicting information and thought process I give to Tolwyn, hey, this is what I was thinking. Maybe it might accept the offer.
To die.
It's not really death.
I know, I just like making a joke.
If you can convince it to let us end this existence, I will help you do that.
Typhel, sir, not Cerberus, Talon, go ahead and roll insight.
Alright.
He keeps mentioning about learning, and apparently we're failing the lesson here. Should we review about what it is that we've learned so far?
I think
the feeling is our existence.
He's got a lot of eyes, and it's not very. He can see. He keeps talking about seeing stuff.
And yet it lives in darkness.
That is ironic.
12. Kythal, you can roll as well.
Also,
Okay.
I don't know how well it's coming across, like just me talking, but this is probably one of the most. This is probably one of the moments where you seem Tolwyn the most, almost like prejudiced against this thing. He doesn't like it.
That is fair.
To me, it's just like Wednesday, I guess.
12 and 5. From what both of you can tell, Taylor and Kythal, whatever this thing is, maybe Tolwyn does have a point of your just failure in life or your existence coming to this type of end, this conclusion, or just not really understanding after giving a message again and again and again. It's not as if it is tired of its life. It's not as if it wants to be ended. It's more like, what can I do to make these people understand? And how do their minds work, whether they think and how they act, and how can they prove themselves in being a being that can truly think?
Do you tell us this?
Yes, I do.
Well, it's not accepting the whole flux capacitor or trifecta thing, so it must be looking for something else. Or the hyper dimensional strip poker. I always thought that game was fun. Let's see. How else can we learn about this lesson? Should we go ahead and, or is it referring to a more higher type of lesson? Maybe like our cultural type of thing and how it educates us. Is that what they're talking about? Oh, DM, do I recognize what this dude is talking about now with all this extra insight we're getting?
To a degree. I'm going to say everyone can go ahead and roll insight again, and I'll take the median of the main rolls, since all of you have the information.
Towan
I think that's
discovered
Towen's
things,
third natural 20.
Oh, Towan, I guess your utter hatred for this thing has inspired you to see the answer, man. I mean, this is your adventure and your success.
Everyone rolled pretty well. Minus the 8. Sorry, Service.
It's just not my day.
At least with Steve. As you examine the thought patterns, the connections, and how this thing is talking to you, you can tell that this thing kind of reminds you of Talon. Like, the mannerisms at the very least. This thing does consider itself be above and way above you. And this thing, more or less, is treating you like a type of pet, something that it considers beneath it. And it's trying to teach and help you learn, help you grow and process into something that it believes you can be. Like when someone trains a dog to learn how to sit, stay, come, fetch. It seems to try to help in its own way people to understand, to learn, to grow. This thing is trying to help you go along a path that is not in a parallel pattern to your own. It's not exactly linear, but this thing does seem to conceive of all of you as something that it could teach to go in the correct path in its own vision. Based off of what it's given you, when it's told you to go back, when it's told you about others that have failed and continue to fail, except for one that eventually learned, you think about what you have already seen, what has already come about. And, well, when you turned around to see the footprints, when you turned around to move away from the voices, that doesn't seem to be the thing that it was telling you to do. So just simply turning around and walking down the hill wasn't the correct answer. So when you failed again and again, it does seem to not... Well, it does seem to understand that you clearly continue to fail. So when it continues to give you the same, to its mind, clear answer to your dilemma, and you just wound up here, you can tell this thing is frustrated, as if it caught the dog peeing on the carpet. And when you begin to process others that have failed, you begin to remember the thing that is more or less 100 feet above you now. 100 feet above you now. The spirits that are going through the process of their coping, of life and death before their imminent demise. And when you remember just one passing, they didn't say it happened a long time ago. They just said one eventually learned its lesson. And you remember Kythal helped one of the spirits move along. And then you remember what Service said about the picture, about could that be the person that learned their lesson or passed this trial or just took the actual advice to heart. They said no. And when the thing, whatever this thing is, this Steve, or in common that you're familiar with, this beholder formed its smaller shape, you remember that being with the one eye in that picture, and how Cerberus said the eye is the only thing that seemed correct for some reason. And when you put those things together, you can tell that this thing was leading these people to try to get an outcome that it wanted, but it clearly failed. And others ran while others stayed and tried to cope with whatever they could, but they failed. And so they died. To repeat their failures over and over and over again.
It seems to me that you've had many opportunities to try and teach those you consider inferior, but you continue to fail. Could it not be that the failure is yours?
If those that I give advice to aren't willing to listen, to learn, it is not my failures, but theirs. After all,
Hey.
You just cut him off.
No, sorry. I thought that pause was him stopping.
That was me technically taking a pause. For a breath. After all, how can something that is not of the same level truly understand something above it to the greatest of degrees? Pause. You go.
Hey, Kythal, what was it that ghost said to you again?
I honestly don't remember.
It wasn't that long ago. You remember that I gave you a warning at press concern of something hiding in the shadows, worming and weaving its way out, perceiving and seeing you wherever you may lie. You're starting to think it's this thing.
Yeah.
So you can tell that this thing was probably the end for that entire group.
So I'm trying to think of what this lesson is. I'm drawing a blank.
So if we don't pass this lesson, do we end up like these people upstairs?
It would be a mercy based of what you truly seek now and what path you are taking.
I have another question. DM.
Yeah.
Based upon what this guy is talking about and the ghosts and all that good stuff, and then I remember the vision I had with there's also no bodies here, or blood, or bones. I remember the vision, and the vision spoke about what it wanted. Is the vision talking about? Does it have any correlation on what this creature, this Steve, wishes us to learn?
Huh. At this point, you guys rolled pretty well, and I begin to gather all information. As you begin to remember the vision that you had in mind, you remember Scarlet, or at least the nexus point of where everything was being sent out from, was in this area. It's not as if it's trying to teach you a lesson, it's just giving you general advice, something to help guide you, something to help teach you while you were here, while you were able to hear its words. You were able to understand, but clearly you did not. You can tell that this is not a lesson of, hey, if you do this, you will succeed. It's more of, hey, don't touch this hot stove. And yet you continue to touch it by its own viewpoint.
Oh, shit. Steve, I'm so sorry. I'm thinking I'm understanding what you're saying now. Oh. I'm sorry, Steve. I think I'm starting to get it a little bit. It's been so long since I last talked to a Steve. I'm so sorry, man.
Steve, I still do not get it. If you're trying to teach us a lesson or trying to tell us what we should or should not do, are you just making assumptions based on your own thoughts of being down here in a...
Wait. Stop.
Okay.
It's not a black and white thing. Okay.
No, it looks kind of purple to me.
No, sorry. It's not a do or don't. It's an advice type of thing. It's more general. It's more spread out. Sort of like...
It's more insidious.
Sort of like the fog. I think the fog is part of the lesson about trying to be more cautious and and seeing the smaller things about what to do and not to do, you remember how the light, when it was shining in the fog upstairs, how it seems to be making all these tentacle looking things, yet we
Right.
didn't see any of that? That is also,
Mhm.
I think, part of the warning, part of the advice that was being given. I think he's referring to how we are ignoring or being foolhardy in our choices and just downright tossing away our lives without forethought. At least I might be getting closer to it. I probably have
But
to think about it more.
none of us would know what is the end of our lives. So do we toss it away or do we follow a path and see where it leads? And if we don't like that to end, we try to go a different path. But none of us would ever know what to expect down our path.
If you take a horse to water, or you can't make it drink unless it wants to.
That is true, but at some point, the horse either dies or it drinks.
The point is that Steve over here is the person and we're the horse.
Okay, so we either drink or we die.
And he's trying to make us think like a person. The
Hmm.
person holds the insight for long term, the horse does not.
Correct. I see that point. Um,
Service roll
Steve, how long have you been
persuasion.
down here?
Who rolls persuasion?
Service, you do. Kaithal, when you say, how long you been down here? Steve, air quotes, does state, I have been down here since the incursion. Since the cataclysm of events. When I was brought here to help in the calling. And when he says that, he does look towards Service. And he finished that sentence and he does go to a new topic. Service gives you general, I'm going to say advice, viewpoints, concerns. I'm not going to say yes or no, he got it correct. But Steve does state, it does seem that you can or are capable of learning, even if you do have so many faults. You'll be given one more chance. This time, I will not give you advice, for you will not take it in the end, as I have seen so many to not take it in the end. But, as your own kind would put it, you do not know when your lives will end, and who am I to stop you from running to that end? You do see that the rope is picked up from where Kaithal dropped it by one of the eye stalks and begins to lift it up into the sky as if it's bringing it to the roof. And then you do hear, air quotes, Steve, if you do intend to leave, then do so now. But if you do intend to stay, I can give you a merciful end. Or you might be able to learn in the afterlife.
Tolwyn's gonna walk away in a huff.
I'm
leave.
going to say thanks, Steve.
Huff, grab rope. Thanks, Steve. Grab
just
rope.
Go away.
Yeah,
as
it's
quickly as
lifting
can.
you guys up to the non-magical darkness. Kaithal, Talon?
I'm going to look at it and tell it I am not completely satisfied with your answers, but I do not feel like dying this day, so I will make my leave. I will have my leave, but I believe I would like to talk to you again in the future. And I
Yeah,
just go at that point.
I just hop on and get out. I don't say anything.
Grab.
I'm very curious about this whole thing.
Talion grabs onto rope. Don't say anything. You grab onto your dog. Bird comes towards Talon's shoulder, and you guys are lifted up into the other embankment site, where the fog is still there, but no magical darkness is abating it. Soon enough, the fog in this area is swallowed up by darkness, or you believe dissipates, causing this to be unseen by the natural eye once more. You guys decide to get out of there, making it to where the ghosts lie. Now, with a potential advice giver, it's honestly hard to tell. And by the way it was judging you, Tolwyn super doesn't like it. Whatever this thing is, whatever you intend to do at this point in time, you can tell you were given advice. Maybe it's hard, honestly, to tell. Whatever this thing is, it can clearly not understand the concept of, well, you. So it's hard to tell whether or not it is good advice, or if it was just simply judging you by its own circumstance and standards. Either way, you managed to dodge a bullet, maybe just barely. You are now at a turning point, whether or not you continue to maybe speak with this thing, or to adhere advice. And the one thing it did state at the very end: who am I to stop you from running towards your end? To your end. And who knows what that means. You do know, however, that it did give you advice on Scarlet, and what they might be. Whether or not you pick that up, we'll figure that one out next time. You do know what it called it, though. So you at least have that. Honest. And we'll see what happens with that advice next time as we end the session. What was that?
Can you say it again? What they said about Scarlet? I didn't quite catch it.
It called Scarlet an honest.
For some odd reason, I can't really get it. Are you saying honest or something else?
I'll just spell it out, because I could be mispronouncing it. Man, I just had it open. Annis.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like you were saying it right.
We'll figure out what that all means next time, with probably a good long rest, and maybe a couple feet away from this door, as we end the session for today.